one question that we've been having fun asking everybody that we've had on so far, with quarantine going on, um, what if you could be quarantined with one person outside of your family? Who would it be?
Oh my goodness. Does it have to be like a friend or a celebrity or
Just anybody, not your family.
Anybody that's not
anybody?
family.
Anybody who's not family. I would probably go with my friend Jen. She actually works for the Indians organization, and she is somebody who we can just talk and talk and talk for the longest time. And I know obviously quarantine tests everybody's patience when you're stuck in a room with someone, but I think that just knowing her personality and how upbeat she is, and we all need so much positivity right now. So I think she's someone I definitely have a lot of fun with.
Awesome.
That'd be awesome.
And what if you had to pick one ball player?
One ball player. I would probably go with, let me think. Gosh, there's so many. I'm trying to flip between majors and minors. Um, I would probably go with Shane Baz from the Rays, just
Okay.
because he is somebody who, we joked the other day, I did an interview with him over the phone, and he and I love to talk pitching so much that we've had to put self-imposed limitations on our conversations, because otherwise we would sit and talk for like 2 hours at a time. And I said, Shane, this is obviously fun, but I don't want to keep you all day, and I know that you have other stuff you want to do too. So we've had to sort of limit that, but he's really fun, just kind of a fun personality, and I think he'd be a lot of fun as well.
Awesome. So I know I was looking online some that you like different sports like college basketball and things like that as well. So what made you decide to cover baseball specifically?
Yeah, baseball was always the prominent sport in our house. All of my brothers played. I played softball for a bit, and it was just always kind of the sport that we sort of were geared towards. My dad was a big baseball fan growing up. He grew up down south, so they were all Cardinals. That was the closest team that he had, was St. Louis. So that was the game that he just raised us around, and so that was something that we knew pretty well. And I think just the opportunity of being involved in it from like a media perspective and also from an evaluator perspective just seemed like a really good fit, and it's definitely been a lot of fun so far.
Awesome.
Cool.
If you weren't reporting and covering MILB or baseball in general, what do you think you would be doing?
I could see myself working for like some kind of a nonprofit. I think that is an area that I'm passionate about when it comes to finding groups of people that maybe need more representation or need more of a voice to sort of bring them, a bit more support in whatever area that might be. So probably something along the lines of, I've always thought inner city sports programs were really interesting, just because that helps a lot of underprivileged kids get an opportunity to get access to equipment, get access to fields or training facilities,
Yeah.
and drives them in that direction of maybe getting a chance that they wouldn't normally get just because of limited exposure to that type of, equipment or training. So that would be something I think I'd enjoy a lot as well.
The social worker in me is very happy to hear you say that. So we know you do reporting and you do some evaluations and scouting, if you will. But who are some of the top prospects, like say top three within the Tigers, and then within other organizations you want to keep your eye on?
Yeah, for Detroit, I would say several who are really intriguing. I'll try and mix them up a little bit because right now the Tigers farm system is very pitching heavy. So a lot of their top guys by rank are pitchers. So I'll probably go like two pitchers and a position player. So maybe not the top three specifically, but definitely three of the top prospects in the system. I would go with Matt Manning for one. He's somebody who signed in 2016 out of high school. Big kid. His dad actually played in the NBA.
Oh,
So he
cool.
got his dad's height. Matt is 6'6",
Wow.
Oh,
all
wow.
arms and legs. And I think one of the coolest things for me about being in the minors is that you get to see all of these guys start from the ground up. And so
Yeah.
you kind of see, the ups and downs, maybe, hopefully not injury related, but some of them do go through injuries. Um, the ups and downs as far as growth, learning your body, learning pitch development. So kind of just a mix of those, and Matt's somebody who I've had the chance to see start from the beginning, and just watching him develop has been really fun. And then another one who just signed with Detroit last summer is Riley Green, who's another high school pick. He's an outfielder. And he's someone who actually drew really rave reviews from Miguel Cabrera, of all
Oh,
people. And
Oh.
I think
that's impressive. Yeah.
that is impressive. And I thought, what, as a hitter, you can't really ask for a better endorsement than Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah.
So he was one who just had his first half season in 2019, absolutely blew through the system, played in 3 different affiliates in about that half a summer, and really impressed a lot of people. And then the other one, who he has a really interesting name, Tarek Skubal, who a lot of people refer to him as Tariq, and you have to correct and say, actually, it's Tarek. It's the other pronunciation. So he's somebody who signed with the Tigers in 2018 and came out of Seattle University, which is not a school known for producing an excessive amount of major league talent. But the way that Tarek played last year was just absolutely mind-blowing. He got promoted to the AA Eastern League and absolutely blew people out of the water. I mean, his numbers, he had 17.4 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's in the Eastern League.
Yeah.
So for anybody who's not familiar with the Eastern League, that is a very, very big hitters league. You start to see hitters really kind of come into their own, makes it really hard for pitchers to come in and do really decent work. And he not only was decent, he just surpassed all expectations. And he was actually in talks to possibly make his major league debut later this year, once everything was up and running, but then the world ended, and obviously we all know that has kind of put everything on hold. So those are 3
Right.
guys that have really stood out to me from the Tigers system.
That's cool. So speaking of Miguel Cabrera, we like to ask a question. It's instead of marry, screw, kill, we do keep, do a 1-year deal, or trade. So with 3 Tigers players, if you had to keep one, trade one, or sign one to a 1-year deal between Ty Cobb, Lou Whitaker, or Miguel Cabrera, what would you do with each of those guys?
Oh my goodness. Sign one to a 1-year deal. I would go with Lou Whitaker.
Mhm.
What were the other 2 options?
Keep and trade.
I would keep Ty Cobb, and I would trade Miguel Cabrera.
Interesting.
That's tricky. That's
Yeah.
kind of a hard question.
Yeah, and especially when you put some legends in there, because obviously you want to keep all of them, and you can't. So
Well, and
Unfortunately.
the interesting thing with Ty Cobb too is that for people, if anyone's looking for a good book to read, there is, I'm going to forget the author's name. I believe it was Eshelman, might have been the last name of the author, wrote The Life of Ty Cobb, and it was such a fascinating, realistic view of who he was as a person. And one of the biggest things about him is how misunderstood he was by the media, by the public. And he was actually a really fascinating person. He had his skeletons in the closet just like everybody else did, but a lot of the way that he approached the game, a lot of the way that he played the game, he was actually very cutting edge. Some of the stuff that he came up with was quite ahead of its time. And so just knowing the way he was both on and off the field, it made that book really interesting to read.
I'll definitely put it
Oh,
down.
awesome. I was gonna say that kind of parlays into my next question because I was going to ask, what is your favorite baseball movie and baseball book? We've been watching a
Baseball?
lot of baseball movies here lately, getting Emily up to speed because she doesn't watch movies
Sure.
much.
Sure.
I do read though, so I put that book down as soon as you said it. So
Awesome. Yeah, and it's funny because there's pros and cons to both. I feel like I do love to read, but I feel like I have to be in the right headspace because I'm not very good at sitting still for long periods of time. And so I have to really set my mind to it and say, you know what? This is a time where I really want to focus in on a good book. And that one is one that I've really enjoyed lately. There's a couple out right now. Keith Law has a new one out, I believe. And then Eric Longenhagen, who, for those of you who don't know, he is one of my favorite human beings in general. He's a prospect writer over at Fangraphs, and he's been just such an incredible support to me in my career, and he's helped me learn so much. He and Kylie McDaniel, who Kylie just moved over to ESPN to work with Jeff Passan, the two of them wrote a book that just released. So that's
cool.
another one that people could look out. It's more for kind of like the nerdy baseball fans, more stat driven and behind the scenes facts. So if you're a little bit more on the nerdy side, I would definitely consider checking that out.
Yep.
Cool.
Oh, and
That's
the baseball movie. Um, there are multiple really, really good ones. But one of my favorites, I think, would be 42. The most recent Jackie Robinson movie that they released. I think several years ago now, when they
yeah.
released that one. And I've seen that one probably 10 times and just love it every single time. So that's definitely a recommendation too.
Awesome. So we are all minor league fans. I'm close to the Down East Wood Ducks in Kinston, and Ashland's near the Birmingham Barons, and then the
I was
Trash
like, I had
Can
my
does.
Baron shirt off today.
And then Marla has a short season. Uh, Williamsport Crosscutters, she's near. But one of the things that we've been talking about with no one knowing what's going to happen with the season is, do we think there's a chance of minor league coming back at all? Like, or nobody knows, or just wanted to hear your thoughts about how like minor league. We know you did a lot of work with them and helping them get secondary jobs and payment and stuff like that. But like as far as games go, what do you think is going to happen for the rest of the year?
Yeah, that's been a question on a lot of people's minds, including the players. I've spoken with several players this week just about how they're approaching training and trying to stay in a good mental space with being ready if that phone call comes through and tells them this is when we need you back. It's not looking very promising on the minor league side. Nothing has been confirmed. It's still being discussed, but I think the fact, and again, this is just a very, very loosely based opinion, I don't see Major League Baseball being ready to come back until probably June at the earliest. And if you look at it that way, minor league season is done by the first week of September. And so you're looking at that going, do we want to give them a month and a half to 2 months to play? Is that even
Right.
worth it? Is that
Right.
even feasible to get all of the parks open, to get all of the staffs brought in? There's so many little nuances to it that unfortunately make it more complicated than just saying, let's bring baseball back.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
For sure.
Um, so I saw on your Instagram a few weeks ago you went to your first Red Wings game. So I was curious, are you a hockey fan? Do you like minor like the American League hockey or the AHL? Or do you
You
not
know,
really watch
it's
it?
I actually I enjoy hockey. I do. I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan for those of everybody who are not aware. So we do have an AHL affiliate here. It's the affiliate of the Red Wings. So I get the opportunity to go to, maybe like one game a week or every other week because I live like 10 minutes from the arena. So it makes it nice to just drive downtown and catch a game every once in a while. It's a fun thing. I can't say I'm somebody who religiously follows the records or the stats or anything like that, but I like to kind of keep a loose idea of what's going on, just for the sake of supporting the city and trying to kind of keep tabs on,
Yeah.
Detroit sports and that kind of stuff. But as far as being a diehard, I cannot claim that title. But I do enjoy sitting down and grabbing a game with a few friends. And the new arena, Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, that houses the Pistons and Red Wings, just an immaculate facility. That was my first time inside there, and it's such an incredible facility.
Yeah.
So being able to check that out was really fun, and it's not the best time to be a Detroit sports fan, pretty much in general. We're struggling on all fronts on the professional sports side, but it's still it's a great sports city. If you haven't been to Detroit, if you get an opportunity to, the city loves sports, and it shows up even when they're frustrated, even when they want the owners and the coaches fired, they're still going to show up. So I would definitely encourage people to come if you get an opportunity to.
Awesome.
So we started this thing from our listeners. They just sent in questions, and we have like a grab bag. So do you have time to answer one, maybe two questions from there for us?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to. It's literally a hat with ideas in it. Okay. Some of these are like super brave specific, so I'm trying not to rope you into those debates. And so if you had to, during the corona apocalypse, you only got one like beauty item. I don't know how much into like makeup and cosmetics and things you are, but somebody asked us this. So what one item would you save with you for your quarantine time?
I would have to go with mascara, I think, because I will be honest, when I'm home during all of this, I am in sweats, a t-shirt, and no makeup. I generally don't wear makeup at all during the weekends right now. But I would have to say mascara, just because if I'm out in public and I have no mascara on, I feel like I just rolled out of bed. So
It makes
it's
you look
nice.
a little more alive. Yeah.
It does. That's actually the perfect way to put it, because you feel like you look a little more alert than you actually are. So I would have to go with
Exactly.
mascara on that one.
That is a good choice. So we got one more. It's kind of sports related. I know you said you played softball, so it could be either that or for when you're covering stuff now. But do you have like a go-to meal before games?
Yeah, I would say probably more now with my coverage of it. I have tried to, and it depends what park I'm at, I've tried to build a bit of a healthier habit, because there's so many options to eat mac and cheese or brats or fries or, so many different types of ballpark foods, which are all wonderful in their own time. But when you eat a bunch of them, they obviously start to not burn away as quickly as you'd like them to. So I have tried to be aware of what the menu option is like at the parks I go to. And I'm actually very fortunate, because the park here in Grand Rapids, which is the Class A affiliate of the Tigers, they have one of the top press menus in the entire league. It's just so well put together. It's so impressive. And they actually come in and take your order. You don't have to go scoop something out of a pan. They actually come in and say, what would you like? And they have such a good salad selection that, depending on how the rest of my day went, I'll go in and get like a really nice chicken salad and treat myself to a dessert if I'm in the mood for that too. But that's kind of what I go to if I can help it, just to try and stay on my health kick. But if I'm feeling very lazy, I'll generally do like a burger of some kind.
Awesome. Well, we will let you get back to your family, unless you have any questions for us. But we appreciate you taking the time for sure. I think.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. And anytime you ever have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you more.